All right, so if I'm looking at number 1, that says f of negative 4, which means I'm going to take out the x and I'm going to put in the negative 4. We're just going to start going around the room. Dalton, what would you write there to show you're plugging in negative 4? Wonderful. No variables or anything in there, is there, folks? So you just type it in. Negative 9. Let's skip over number 2 and go to number 3, because number 3 looks very similar. Instead of plugging in negative 4, now what are we plugging in number 3? 100. So tell me, what would you write to plug in 100? Gives you 43. Folks, how we doing so far? You guys remember when we did this back in like September? This is when we first started doing these problems. And I always put them on your mountain math, don't I? Every time. Okay, let's come back to number 2 now. What am I plugging in number 2? C. Luke, can you tell me what it would look like if I plugged in a C? Perfect. Now, folks, is there anything that can be combined or distributed or anything of that nature? No, this is it. You leave it just like that. Okay. And number 4, I'm back to Quentin. What am I plugging in this time, sir? So, yeah, there's more to plug in, but we're just going to put it in parentheses, and we're going to put it right where the x is. Is there anything to be done this time? Yeah, I can distribute that 1/2. Half times 2x is 1x, or just x. A half times negative 1 is negative 1/2, and then I have my minus 7. Can anything be combined now that I've distributed? Yes, the half, which is a negative 1/2, right? And the negative 7. What do you get when you put those together? If you want to do negative 7.5, you're more than welcome to do that. How is everybody doing plugging in to those functions? Does this make sense? Warm up is okay for everybody? Yeah? Okay, so let's get into our notes for today. Today we're going to talk about the difference between and or. If you look down at the bottom of your page, you see a whole bunch of problems, and they either have an and or an or between them. Does everybody see what I'm talking about? Okay, so we need to know the difference between an and problem and an or problem. So I'll give you this situation. If I tell you that I'm a female and a math teacher, what does that mean? You are both, right? That's exactly what that means. If it's an and inequality, then both inequalities are satisfied. And when you're looking at a graph, that's going to be the overlap. Okay, when you're looking at a graph, that will be the overlap. Those are and inequalities. Say it again. Yeah, that's perfect. He's looking down at or. If I say I'm a female or a math teacher, that means I could be one or the other, right? Would it matter which one I was, one or the other? Not at all, okay? So the or means that either inequality is satisfied. And on the graph, you basically are including everything because it can be one or the other, and it doesn't matter which one it is. So if I brought in every female, every math teacher, that would just be everybody that's a female or math teacher, right? Okay, so it doesn't matter, and that's why we include everything. So we're going to start off nice and easy. If you look at these problems, you will notice in all of these problems on the front of your paper, all of the variables are by themselves. Does everybody see that? The x's are all isolated. Fair enough? So do you have to do any solving? No, you don't. All you need to do is graph them on a number line. So let's take a look at the first one here. Are the variables on the correct side? Are they on the left-hand side? Folks, if I look at this one, is a variable on the left. How about this one over here? Okay, so we're good to go. So if I'm going to do my number line, which one is going to go on the number line first? Is the 5 or the 1 going to go first? Which one is lower? The 1. So the 1 is going to go first, and then the 5. You have to put them in numerical order because it's a number line. Okay, now so let's look at this first one over here. It says t is less than 5. What kind of circle am I going to put on the 5? It is going to be open. Which way am I going to shade on the 5? Which way does that point? That arrow points to the left. That is less than. If I look at the second one over there, what kind of circle is going to go on the 1? Open. And which way are we going to shade? To the right. Now, is this an and problem or an or problem? And, which means, does that mean I want the overlap or everything? I wrote up there the overlap for and problems, yes? So where do these two lines overlap? You guys see how both the red and the blue is between 1 and 5? Does everybody see that? So that is your final answer. That would be where all of the answers are. Could you tell me a number that would be an answer to these inequalities? 4, that would be in there, wouldn't it? 3 would be in there, wouldn't it? Say it again. 4, 3, and 2. What about 1.5? What about 3.999? Yeah, there's still infinite possibilities in here. We're just confined a little bit. You just can't go past 5 and you can't go to the other side of 1. That makes sense, everybody? Yes? Okay, let's try again. Take a look at number 2. Is this inequality written in the correct order? Is the variable on the left? How about this one? Okay, so we're ready to go. Which of those numbers goes on my number line first? The -1 and then the 7. What kind of circle is going to go on this -1? Open, and which way am I going to shade? To the left. What kind of circle is going to go on the 7? And we're going to shade to the right. Now, folks, is this an and problem or an or problem? Or. So does that mean the overlap or everything? Everything. So, folks, that's it. Everything that's shaded is an answer. Fair enough? So tell me, what's an answer? What's an answer? Not all real numbers. Everything is not shaded. Is 0 shaded? Okay, so I don't know. I'm not sure that you guys are quite getting this. By shading, I mean there's an arrow over it. So everybody see this blue line right here? That would be shaded this way. Agreed? Hold on. Does everybody see this arrow here? That would mean shaded this way, correct? So 8, 9, 10. Tyler's telling me. Do you agree that 8, 9, and 10 would be shaded? Those would be answers. Give me some answers that would not work. 0, 3, 1. All of those do not work. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, moving on. Number 3. Is this one written in the correct way? No, it's not. I have to flip the entire thing around. Is this one written the right way? Yes, it is. The variable is on the left. So, what number comes first on my number line? What kind of circle will you have on that -2? Closed, and which way am I going to shade? Okay, we're going to start going around the room again. I think I left off with Quentin, so Logan, you're up. Which way am I going to shade on this -2? Which way does the arrow point? To the right? Quentin, geez, oh Pete's. Logan, what's going to be on this 4, an open or closed? Okay, this symbol right here tells me open or closed. Is there an equals bar? No, then it's open. Which way does that arrow point, to the left or to the right? Which way does that arrow point, to the left or to the right? It looks like this, doesn't it? So that's pointing that way? To the left. Good? Is this an and or an or problem? Cody, I'm up to you. Is this and or or? It's and. Does that mean overlap or everything? Okay, so I'm looking at my notes up here, and means the overlap. So Cody, where do these things overlap? Where do both the red and the blue line show up? At 4? That's the only spot right here at 4 where the red and the blue show up? So right here and right here, you're telling me? Yes? Okay, so I need to redo this, I think, because we're not, that's not just you, Cody. Let's go back. Where they're both shaded. Okay, so if I do 2, -2, and Logan told me we're going this way, that would be shading this way, right, folks? Yeah? If I do 4, and it would be open, yes? And it would be going this way, correct? So where do those two things overlap? They overlap between them. It's not just at 4, and it's not just at -2. It is between them. Do you see how both of those colors show up? So the answer to these two inequalities would be in between both of those numbers. Is that a little better if I actually shade it on the line instead of above the line? Okay, I'll do that from now on. Nope, just where both of the colors show up is what I'm looking for. Okay, so now I'm up to number 4. Okay, I'm over to Braden. Braden, is the first one written in the correct order? Is the second one written in the correct order? Okay, so which number will go on my number line first? And then we have that 7. Okay, what kind of circle is going to be on -1, Braden? And which way am I going to shade that? What kind of circle is going to be on that 7? And which way am I going to shade that? Is this an and problem or an or problem? Does that mean the overlap or everything, Braden? Look at right there on your notes. It's right there. Everything, yes? So I just get to include everything that's up there. So I'm just going to leave it just like that. Because that shows everything, doesn't it? Give me 1 second. What's an answer to this problem? 8, not 3. 3 would be where it's not shaded. What? -3. Anything above 7, anything below -1. Question. You don't. As long as you show me the shading, I'm just going to assume those arrows go on forever. Okay. Number 5, and I'm over to Tyler. Or excuse me, Trevor. Is the first one written in the correct order? How about the second one? Yep. Okay, so which one goes on my number line first? And then we have the 3. What kind of circle is going to go on that -9? And which way am I going to shade that? To the right. What kind of circle is going to be on that 3? And which way am I going to shade that one? To the right. How's everybody doing there? Doing okay? So is this an and problem or an or problem? It's an and problem. So Trevor, does that mean the overlap or everything? The overlap. Where do those two colors overlap? Where do both of those colors show up? Where do they overlap? There's no blue after -9. Right? Overlap means both things have to be there. Remember when I said I'm a math teacher and a female, correct? I have to be both of those things. So here I have to be both of those things, and that happens over here. How we doing? I don't really know that we're doing good. I'm not very confident right now. Okay. Tyler, let's look at number 6. Is the first one written in the correct order? How about the second one? Okay, which one goes on my number line first? Okay. And then we have the 8. What kind of circle is on 0? Which way am I going to shade that? To the right. What kind of circle is on 8? And which way am I going to shade that? Is this an and problem or an or problem? Look at the problem. It says or between those, doesn't it? So does that mean the overlap or does that mean everything? Everything. So everything that's up there that is shaded is an answer, yes? So what would be an answer? Great. What would be an answer? What else? What about below 0? Is below 0 shaded? Any number would work. What can I do for you, Gage? Yeah, the arrows are just being covered up by my shading. The arrows are underneath there. Are you saying... Yeah, because I didn't think people were really getting that. You're saying, why didn't I keep doing it like this? Correct. I would agree, but I didn't think people were really understanding what I was doing here, so I brought it down and started shading it on the number line. Okay, it means the same thing, and you can do it whichever way you like best. But I just didn't. Yeah, I didn't think people were getting it, so I switched it to the other way. Okay. Where am I at? Savannah, number 7. Is that one written in the correct order? It is not. So how are you going to write it? Okay, second one is in the right order. Which one goes on my number line first? Okay, so let's start with that -2. Which way am I going to shade on the -2? And it would be open or closed? Closed and to the left. Is everybody all right with that? All right, Savannah, what kind of circle on the 7? And which way am I going to shade on that? Everybody okay with that? Savannah, is this and or or? So do I want the overlap or everything? Everything, so I'm going to leave it just like that. Everything that's shaded is an answer. I did not shade the wrong side for 7 because I had to flip it around because the K has to be on the left. Okay. Sarah, moving over to you for number 8. Is the first one written in the proper order? Yes. How about the second one? Yes. Oh, folks, this time it looks like it's the same number in both of them, isn't it? Yeah, she does have an easy one. We only have to put a 6 on here. That's it. Okay. Sarah, if I look at the first problem, is this going to be an open or closed on that 6? And which way am I going to shade? Which way does that arrow point? To the right. And the second one, what kind of circle will go on the 6? Closed again. And which way will that one go? Which way does that arrow point? To the left. And Sarah, is this an and problem or an or problem? It's and means I need the overlap. Where do those two colors overlap? Just at 6. Do you see how that's the only place that both the red and the blue are meshing together? It's only at 6. That is my only answer. That is the only solution to this set of inequalities. Yep. No, that's okay. Why did I put 1 and 6? Because they both have a 6. 6 would not be on a number line twice. There's only one 6 in a number line. Okay, so I don't have to write it twice there. Yep, I'll be in the same place. Correct, which that is not the case in this problem though, right? Okay, Dalton, I'm back over to you for number 9. Are they both written in the correct order? They are. Which one goes first? Okay, let's start with the 7. What kind of circle on that 7? Open or closed? And then you said to the right. Okay. Open and to the left. Is this an and or an or problem? It's an or problem. So does that mean I want the overlap or I want everything? I want everything. So everything up there that is shaded is an answer. What's shaded up here, folks? 10, 11, 6. Why does it have to be above those two numbers? Is there shading below those numbers? It's an or, so it's everything that's shaded. Every number that has a color on it is shaded. And then we get down to number 10. Number 10 does not have an and or an or, does it? Where is that X? It's in the middle. Did everybody hear Gage say in the middle? Okay. These two numbers are going to go on my number line. What kind of circle is going to be on the -1? What kind of circle is going to be on the 10? Now, where did Gage say that variable was? So I am only going to shade where the variable is. That is the answer. Now, everybody listen, because somebody in here is going to do it. My 4th period, somebody already did it. And it drives me bonkers. And I know why you do it, but I'm telling you not to. Are you ready? Look at me up here, please. Which way does that arrow point? So somebody's going to do this. Which way does that arrow point? To the left. Why is that not the correct answer? Why can I not just shade both of those to the left? Correct. The X has to be on the left if I want to go in the directions of the arrows, yes? Correct. Is that x to the left of the -1? So you can't shade it that way. So I'm telling you, don't do this. Fair enough? Don't do it. The variable is in the middle, so you're going to shade it in the middle. Uh-huh. Actually, it's your problem anyway, so. What numbers are going to go on there? What kind of circles? Both of them closed. Where is the R? So where are you going to shade? So folks, where are my answers to this problem? Between those two numbers. Mm-hmm. Just in the middle. Mm-hmm. Yep. We're going to start with these problems on the back. You got a problem? No? Listen, there's a lot of them, but you need the practice. That's the only way to do it. What's that? There's many problems. Many, many problems. Okay, show me or tell me which problems have the variable in the middle like the ones we just ended with, because that's where I want to start. Perfect. Number 2. Does everybody see how the x is in the middle? Is the x alone in the middle? No, you need to get it alone. How am I going to get that x alone? Folks, you have to add 2 on all 3 pieces. You guys see how it's kind of chunked into 3 sections? I have a left, a right, and a middle, yes? So I need to add 2 on the left, or the right, and the middle. So now I have -1 is less than or equal to x is less than 6. Now is the variable alone? It is. So I'm ready for my number line. A -1 and a 6. Closed on which one? The -1. Hold on, please. Open on the 6. Where is the variable? Between them, in the middle, so that's where you will shade. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You do. Hey, what's up? I'm up here talking, answering a question, okay? Thank you. Number 3 is the same way. The m is in the middle. Y'all see that m in the middle? So let's get it alone in the middle. Subtract the 1. -3, m, and +3, he says. How's everybody doing? Is this logically making sense with what we're doing here? Okay. So now with my number line, I've got a, hold on. I got a -3 and a +3. Which one do you want the close to be on, Gage? Okay. Folks, where is the variable? So you're going to shade in the middle. Fair enough, right? Do we have any more like this on this set of notes? Number 7, she says. All right, I got to isolate the x. What's farthest away from the x on the same side? The 1. How do I get rid of that 1? If you subtract the 1, what's left? 5x in the middle. How's everybody doing there? There's still a 5 in there with the x though, right? How do you get rid of that 5? You divide it. So what is -32 divided by 5? Like that? And 40 divided by 5 is 8. Is a variable alone in the middle? It is. Which number is lower? What kind of circle is on the -6.4? How about on the 8? Where are we going to shade? In between them in the middle. Do I have any more like that? No? No? Okay. I would like to go right back to the beginning, and then we'll just work through the rest of them. So I'm up at number 1. Is the variable isolated in the first inequality? It is not. Lucas, I think I'm back to you. Can you help me isolate that y in the first problem, please? Not yet. Nope, what's farthest away from that y on the same side? There we go. So now I have 5y is less than -5. There we go. There's the dividing by 5. Folks, don't forget that when you divide by a negative, you have to flip the symbol. Did I divide by a negative here? I did not. So I am not flipping the symbol, and you get -1. Quentin, I'm over to you for the second part of this problem. Can you please get your variables together so I can then isolate it? So I have 3y is greater than 9. So a y is greater than 3. Everybody okay with both of those? All right, so let's get a number line going. And I'm up to Logan. Which number is first on the number line, -1 or 3? Okay. And then my 3. What kind of circle on your -1? Oh, there we go. And you say we're going to the left? Everybody good with that? Logan, what kind of circle on the 3? And then you are correct. We are going to the right. Folks, what word was between these two problems? Which means I want everything. So I'm going to leave it just like it is. And I'm going to ask you, where are the solutions to these inequalities? Under -1 and above 3. None of the solutions are between them because it is not shaded between them. Good? Awesome. Means I'm down to number 4 now. And I'm up to Cody. Cody, I need to isolate the W in the first inequality. So I have 2W is less than 4. Now what, sir? Cody, what do I get? W is less than 2. Okay, I'm up to Braden. I need to get my W's together before I can isolate in this next one. So now I have 2W is greater than or equal to 10. Then what? So now I have 2W is greater than or equal to 5. And I'm over to Trevor. I need my number line here. Which one goes first? Okay, let's start with that 2. What kind of circle is on the 2? And which way am I going to go? What kind of circle is on the 5? And which way am I going? Is this an and or an or problem? An or problem. So do I want the overlap or everything? Everything. Folks, guess what? They don't overlap anyway. So if I was having the overlap here, this would be no solution because they don't overlap at all, do they? If it was and, because they don't ever touch each other, do they? The red and the blue are completely separate. Well, we don't know yet until we solve it. We got to solve it and see if they do overlap or not. Okay, so let's solve it. Tyler, I'm up to you. I need you to isolate that first D. So I have 2D is greater than or equal to -3. Then what? What is -3 divided by 2? Good. Okay, over to Savannah. Help me, well, I got to get the D's together first, and then we'll isolate them. She just said divide by a negative, guys. I have to flip this arrow over to now point that way. Or we can do -0.6 repeating. Would that be the same thing? If you divide them, you'll get that 0.6 repeating. All right, Sarah, let's get a number line going here. Can you tell me which number is smaller? Is -1.5 smaller or -0.6 smaller? Correct. Remember, folks, the bigger the negative, the smaller it actually is. All right, Sarah, on that negative 1.5, what kind of circle, open or closed? And which way am I going to shade? Okay. How about on that negative 0.6, open or closed? Which way am I going to shade? How's everybody doing? Is this an and or an or problem? Does that mean I want the overlap or everything? The overlap. Where do they overlap? After or above negative 0.6. Do you all see the blue and the red there? So this is my answer. All of that space and all of those numbers in that space are the solutions to this problem. How we doing? Hope so. Dalton, we're back to you anyways for number 6. Help me isolate that V, please. Oh, I'm on number 6. Good. What do I have now? Greater than. Good. One more step. Which is negative. So there'd be a negative 1 in front of there, right? So we're going to divide by negative 1. And I just divided by negative, so that arrow now has to go the other way. And what is 2 divided by negative 1? Wonderful. Gage, how about that second one? Everybody okay? All right, Lucas, I need a number line. Which one goes on my number line first? Okay, what kind of circle on the negative 2? Shaded which way? What kind of circle on the 12? Wonderful. Is this and or or? Or. Does that mean I want the overlap or everything? Everything. So my answers are everything that's shaded. The only place that does not happen, right there in the middle. Everybody good? I shouldn't have many left. Sure, you want to? Isolate it. Yep, I gotcha. Okay. Wonderful. I need a number line. Which one goes on there first? Okay, what kind of circle in the negative 2.5? Which way? I'm not sure. I'm wondering the same thing, Luke. And or, Gage? Everything or overlap? Everything. So the only place that there are no answers are right in the middle. Everything lower than negative 2.5 is good. Everything higher than 1 is good. Which leaves me with my last problem. Who would... No, you just did the last one. Somebody else. You want to try it? Okay, how do I isolate the x? So now I have 5x is less than 10. Let's finish this one. How do I isolate that x? So x is less than... There we go. How about the other one now? So 5x is greater than 15. Greater than 3. Okay, which one goes on my number line first? Okay, what kind of circle on the 2? Which way am I going to shade? What kind of circle on 3? Which way am I going to shade? Is this an and or an or problem? Which means everything. Which means the only place there's not an answer is in the middle, because that's the only place that's not shaded. As long as you can get the shading right, it's not too bad. You also have to remember, if you divide by a negative, you got to flip it. If the variable's on the wrong side, you got to flip it. Like up and down. Like looking up and down. Gotcha. Okay, homework. Is that?